This is a little video for Gypsy Dance, which is number 20 in the certainly in the new edition of Fiddle Time Runners, and we're going to explore some of the ingredients of it. So I'm not going to talk through the whole piece. First thing to check is that you've got a particular scale. We're sort of in a kind of A minor feel, so we've got low second fingers on the A string and on the D string, so but normal ones on the G string. So we've got this finger pattern on the G, but we're not going to use the open G, so we've got these D, E, F, normal F, not F sharp, so it's close to 1. C, not C sharp, so close to 1. And we don't use any more notes, except for the third finger. So we've got our first few notes without any rhythm are going to be, and that's something that you might want to explore, doing some improvisations using those 4 notes. Starting and ending on the A. The next thing that we've got is a distinctive rhythm which goes like this. The easiest way of thinking about it is that it goes short, long, short, long. So we're going to play it, just practice it on the E string. In fact, the first time it happens, it is on the E string. So da, 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 starting with the down bow, short, long, and think about that something about a bow you can use as well. Be careful that you don't run out of bow. And put a bit of gusto into it, because this is a gypsy piece. It's not a nice classical piece. So we want to be like, put a bit more oomph into it. Then we've got, the very end of the piece is similar, but we're going to add the third finger on it. E string, which is called A, but it's the third thing, so we're going to put 3 straight on. And if you notice my bow comes off the string, I don't know if I can show you that. I'm doing it like a little hop. So that when we do it previously, we're doing a long note at the end. And my bow's still on the string. But when I do it at the very end, I'm gonna do what I call a banana bow, a sort of round bow. And it's going to come off. Then if you look, we've got in the middle, we've got a sort of sequencey thing. Oh, and if you look at the score, if you look at the music, you've got bars 13, 14 and 15 have got a sort of line across the top, and there's a number 1 marked, and then the bar after that has got a line across the top and a little 2. That means that it's almost like we've got 2 verses. So we play the first bit, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we go to bar 13, and we play the next 3 bars, and then we hit a repeat sign, which is the thing with where the 2 dots are. And then we go all the way back to the start, and we play it through, and the second time round, you see where we've got to bar 13 and there was the 1, we jump over all of that and we go to where the number 2 is. So it's like the second verse goes somewhere different, or like we've got a different ending to it. So that's worth knowing, because I'm not sure if you've seen that before. And then you'll notice that there's from where the number 2 is, so that's bar 13, 14, 15, 16. It's numbered back as 13 and so don't worry about it, but it's where the 2 is. You've got what's almost a scale with quavers. So 2 notes, 2 each, 2 bows on each note of the scale. That's the easiest, 2 quavers on each note of the scale, except there's a bit where it isn't. So your job is to spot the one where it's not quite a scale, because you have to play the same note again. I'm not going to tell you where it is, you have to find it for yourselves. You'll also notice that there's a P marked there, it's called the second time bar where the 2 is, you'll see that there's a P marked and then it says cresque. That means piano and then crescendo, which means be quiet and then get gradually louder, and then you've got a mezzo forte marked later and it's still getting louder because it still says crest for crescendo, which means growing or getting louder, and then you've got 2 Fs at the end, which means basically as loud as you can play. So you sort of almost need to practice just doing that. So I'm just going to do quavers getting louder. You can do it changing strings. To get louder, I'm moving towards the bridge. I'm using more bow, so my bow's moving faster, and I'm also using more weight from my arm. And technically, I'm probably also turning the bow here, so I'm not using all the hair, and then by the time I get here, my hair on the bow is flat, but don't worry too much about that. But what you can do, if you're not so confident about doing your dynamics yet, I suggest you start with little bows. And you start using more bow. And that will already make a big difference between quiet and loud. You've got a thing marked right before that, which is just, it's kind of an accent, so it just means put a bit of attitude on that note. So you've got, just sounds like this. Yeah. Don't worry too much about that, it's just, it emphasises that note a bit. So, and then you've got these rhythms, you've got 4 quavers and then 2 crotchets. And then you've got the main important rhythm, which is, it's called, it's there's a word for it, it's called syncopation, so it doesn't come on the count, so the counts go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't worry about it, just feel it. I want you to explore that rhythm and practice just doing anything with the rhythm. You could just do a scale with that rhythm. So I'm starting to improvise using those notes that I gave you before, A, B and C, and the E, and using that rhythm that we've done. So come up with your own little things using those ingredients, but also then once you've done that, you should find the piece a lot more comfortable. So the key things are that low second finger, well, da 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 da, that kind of, it's a kind of modal feel, or slightly minor. It doesn't sound like our normal happy major scale. That rhythm, da 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 da, and the other rhythm, which is da 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 da, and the really important thing in this piece is dynamics. So really quietly and playing louder and getting gradually louder, which is different from going from quiet to loud. Getting gradually louder is a lot harder to manage. So explore how quietly and how loudly you can play. And then I'm going to suggest that for this piece you listen to maybe one of Bartok's Romanian dancers. So if you've got access to YouTube or the library, or somewhere you can get MP3s. There's a composer called Bartok, and he wrote, or rather arranged, some folk tunes from Romania, and he did an arrangement with them for orchestra, and also they're available in a version for violin. You can also listen to some of the Brahms Hungarian dances. They've got a similar kind of feel. There's a really famous one. There's a really the Bartok ones are sort of this sort of kind of thing. It's kind of quite crunchy. You don't have to have your most luxurious velvety sound. You kind of want to have a bit more, it's kind of a bit more of a kind of party feel, and you're kind of going to really enjoy the style without having to worry too much about making a really pretty tone. Let rip a bit, let your hair down, metaphorically if not literally, and And again, I suggest listening to some Bartók or something like so Romanian dances by Bartók, Hungarian dances as arranged by Brahms. Explore dynamics, explore syncopation, and explore that kind of minor-y feel. And enjoy.